you can absolutely understand why the people of York are so horrified about this. They're a great city. They don't want an association with this scumbag anymore.
Well, I totally agree. I understand why they'd not want to be associated. And I personally think that the only future for the monarchy is if they strip all of those freeloaders of their titles. He should become Andrew Windsor. Fergie, the freeloader, I don't quite agree with some of your... I think I would have been a bit crueler on her than you were. Fergie, you know, she should just be...
You would have been more cruel.
I would have been more cruel.
I love that.
She should just be Sarah Ferguson, freeloader, OK? Their daughters, they should not be princesses. I would strip all the titles out of everyone that isn't in direct line to the monarchy and do what Prince Charles really wants to do. But, Dan, isn't there just a little bit in you that thinks, I know that Prince Andrew is ghastly, I know that he's vainglorious, but I have a gut feeling that he's not guilty of this.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't... All I can trust is my own instincts, because he's done the right thing by the Queen. He's fallen on his sword. That's probably not the right expression.
No one wants to fall on his sword.
They do.
Look,
but isn't there a bit of you, seriously, Dan?
Yes, and that's why I've got Lady Victoria Harvey on later.
Has she got that picture?
Yeah, well, she doesn't believe that the picture is genuine. She thinks the picture has been faked, which is obviously something which is highly contested. But I think, given Prince Andrew doesn't have his day in court, let's have it out. But, Daisy, my point is that Prince Andrew had an opportunity to declare his name multiple times. He failed on every single occasion. I know, obviously, you are one of the world's top royal reporters and commentators, so you probably come to me, though, as royal commentators, reporters tend to do, with lots of reasons why he has to stay the Duke of York.
It's very complicated to take that away from him. And, in fact, I mean, I was looking at it today. I think it would take an Act of Parliament.
Yeah, there'd have to be a new law.
The Queen gave it, but it's weirdly she can't just take it away. But, of course, he could stop using it. Just let it drop, so he could still officially be the Duke of York, but he could stop calling himself Duke of York, which is what's happened with his HRH. He still officially has it, but he's not using. He's been told not to use it, so it could be the same.
That's what Camilla did with the whole Princess of Wales.
And I do have sympathy with York, the city's position. I mean, that poll, it was only 400 people, so it's not a massive poll, but it did show, of those 400 people, overwhelmingly they wanted him to stop using it. But other places have taken the situation into their own hands. Like the racecourse has announced that the Duke of York Stakes, which is one of their biggest races, is being renamed the Duke of York 1835, which is the actual Duke of York that it's named after, to disassociate themselves. And there's a pub in Marylebone that's probably... the Duke of York, which is a very well-known pub, that's probably changed its name. So places can do things to disassociate
They can
themselves.
do that, but the City of York, Adam, has no choice, do they? Because this scumbag is going around the world and he's still referred to officially as the Duke of York.
My worry is, what does this teach the kids? You know, kids of today, what is the message being sent? Nothing happens to someone that can buy their way out of trouble or allegations. You know, not everyone has that, you know, mummy's millions or whatever to buy people off.
Have you got any pubs called the Duke of York?
No, thankfully.
Would you change the name?
Yeah, would you?
Do you know what? I mean, it's not easy just to change a pub name. You have got to reply to it, but... in something like this, I think I'd do what Daisy said. I'd try and revert back to the original Duke of York somehow.
And actually, you're right, because the publican in question was saying that they probably do want to do it, but he was saying they'd have to change the bank account, the bank cards. You know, there's lots of paperwork that has to be done. It's not just repainting the sign out the front and saying. So I do get that, and I do understand that he's really brought some shame onto the title. Equally, it's going to be fascinating as just an onlooker to see what happens now with him, isn't it? Is he going to start working for, sex trafficking charities? Because the problem
well,
is...
he'll have to set up his own.
Because the problem is charities don't want him.
Nobody's going to want this guy.
No,
I mean,
that's right.
Patel, one thing that I think about this whole disastrous situation is just how poised the monarchy is for trouble once we say goodbye to the Queen. Because actually all it takes is a couple of these absolute entitled lowlives who have no idea about how the real world works, and they can potentially destroy the modern-day monarchy, can't we?
Dan, you and I are both devout monarchists, oddly, because we weren't even born in this country. But the future of the monarchy, I believe, is in danger once at the time when the Queen dies, because there's something magical about her.
Yes.
But I do think that Charles has been very good in saying, we're not going to have any of these freeloaders around except for me.
Although there's also a cash for honours investigation going on, which we're going to be talking about later in the show with Robert Jobson. I mean, he's hardly squeaky clean himself, is he, Adam Brooks?
No, but let's also not forget that the royal family brings a lot of revenue, a lot of tourism to this country. You know,
yes,
and we've got to really...
A lot of people to your pubs. Is that what you're saying?
I wouldn't say that.
How many of your pubs have got royal titles?
None.
Do you know what? I am absolutely a staunch monarchist, and I do believe in the future of the royal family. I do also think that this current generation has brought a lot of shame and has let the Queen down time and again. And for me, Prince Andrew had years, Daisy, where he could have avoided this situation. Years and years. In fact, we go right back to 2011 when he made that fateful decision to go on holiday to New York and lounge around Central Park with a man who had gone to jail for child sex trafficking, and he had no answer.
But it also helped out his wife with an overdraft.
Yes.
Well,
with a millions overdraft.
That's right. And you know, the thought that a photograph that was taken in Central Park was an accidental photograph. I don't believe that. I think that was deliberately set up. I think that was...
You think it was set up by Epstein?
I do. I think that because he wanted to be seen, to be rehabilitated, be with a member of the royal family. So he was... I think that either Andrew was used... Or possibly was even complicit.
And the people I know, I was talking to someone this evening who's in that sect of Andrew, and they said that Andrew never went for young girls. You know, that's the thing that you talk to people. No one said
close friends of Andrew have said exactly the same thing to me. They did say he'd slept with hundreds and hundreds of women, but none of them were particularly young. But my point about all of this is actually the truth now about Virginia Giuffre's claims are almost irrelevant. They're almost irrelevant because Prince Andrew, in the way that he has handled the allegations, has brought shame on the royal family.
He's guilty in many people's eyes.
Yeah, and
court
also
of public opinion.
I tell you what I was really interested in, picking up on Amanda's point, and I completely agree with Amanda, that when the Queen dies, the shockwaves that are going to reverberate, we're not prepared for how bad it's going to be. Because I think even people don't necessarily have to adore the Queen to be very upset when she goes, because everything's going to change. But one of the things today that I was shocked about was the number of my friends who felt that the Queen's role had been besmirched in this, and that the fact that the Queen probably has bailed him out in some... We don't know what the figures are.
Probably to the tune of many millions.
To the tune... A lot of people were saying that they thought worse of the Queen.
Oh, no, don't say that,
I know,
Daisy.
but this, I think this is dangerous. I think this is dangerous because they... And I was sort of saying, but what else? She needed it to go away, but they thought...
She's been put in an impossible situation, and he should never have done that to his mother. He should never have put her in that position in the first place. There were so many... sort of spots along the road where Prince Andrew could have changed his behaviour, could have owned up, could have cooperated with the FBI, could have made this go on away, and he hasn't. So it is perilous for the monarchy, I think.